Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and share screen, share sound just in case. And go to my desktop. So good morning or good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 12 p.m. R9 Tech Bits mini-series. Today, we're going to be covering a couple of things. We're going to be covering continuing our series with Google Forms. But we are going to be, covering about locked mode with your quizzes, which is really, really nice. And a couple of different ways that I've learned about, and hopefully you'll find new and interesting on how to provide your students feedback using Google quizzes as well in Google Forms. So let's go ahead and get started. And I'm going to start the slideshow. We'll go through our usual spiel, and then we'll get into it. So welcome to the Tech Bits mini-series. I'm glad you could be here today. Our goal or outcomes that we would like to see is just to become more and more familiar with Google Suites and other technology resources, identify ways and different ways of utilizing those tools, and make sure that we can set up and practice and play with our new tools. TechBit norms that we have for each of our meetings is just to be an active listener. Everybody can participate, but you can always choose to pass. But the most important thing is just to be open and honest with one another, and don't be afraid to take those risks. Here is the time to ask those questions and really try to figure it out together. And I won't know the answers to everything. I have made that quite apparent in a lot of my other presentations, but I do want to try to support and assist, and we can discover those solutions together. Resources. And each of these PowerPoint presentations that I made with the Bitmoji, I add in different videos that I've kind of screened through and watched. So hopefully you can check those out if you need to layer in some extra support. And there's a practice and play session. Here's the form link if you need it. And I'll also chat it in the chat box when we get to that point. And again, my email information and contact information and website are all on the PowerPoint presentation. Okay, that being done, let's go ahead and jump in. So let me get to the practice and play. I don't know if I updated that. Let's don't look there. Just pretend I didn't do that. Let's go to, what am I trying to go to? I am trying to go to my new form. Here we go. Okay, so let me share this in the chat box for you, Miss Gloria. Okay, can you see that? And let me know if you can access it. Or you may have to copy it. I'm not sure how it works in Forms. But I just want to, actually, we should all be able to play together, I think. And collaborate. Okay, so this is kind of just the form that we've been playing with together. So about the lock mode, the new lock mode feature in Google Forms, just be aware of these few things. Lock mode collects email addresses and limits quizzes to your domain in a lock mode. Okay, so what are the main goals of access or turning on your lock mode? Students can't access other apps while taking a test or quiz. Some extensions and keyboard shortcuts are disabled. And if student exits the quiz or opens any other tab during that time, you will receive a notification via email as a teacher. Okay, and you may only be able to access the quiz during scheduled hours. So there's a option for you to schedule times if you need to drill it down that far. So important to know about the lock mode is that you need a Google Workspace for Education account. So that is a little bit different, okay? And say your school works with Chromebooks, the Chromebook managed by your school district for each student, just make sure that it's updated to Chrome OS 7.5 and up. Those are the kind of key pointers that they were bringing up to me as I was learning this. So how do you turn on your lock mode, right? So what we want to do is we want to go into our Google form and we want to open up quizzes. And that's going to be found in our, oops, let me get this out of the way. Settings. I'm sorry, I was looking for a gearbox, people, and it's right there in front of my face. So we want to go to settings and we want to make sure that this is activated, make a quiz, right? So we turn that on. And if you notice, there is a new Chromebook setting icon. This is a new feature for Google. We're excited about it. It's easy. Respondents aren't allowed to open up tabs and other applications while taking a quiz. Respondents must take the quiz using a managed Chromebook. So those are your two parameters, but just know that this feature is there and all you have to do is click and it's switched on. Okay. Right now, I'm not really have my students with any Chromebooks, so I'm going to turn it off. But those are the parameters with the quiz in the quiz mode with the locked mode feature. So any questions so far, Gloria? You good?
So I'm assuming that this is a situation, an environment where teachers are controlling their students' use of cell phones.
Yeah, cell phones. Yes, it's more than likely in a school setting and in person with Chromebooks. Yes. Okay. So I don't know if it'll necessarily help you with the virtual learning, but you know, you would be notified if they're kind of cruising around. You know, I would just test it with them and see if there's anything that they notice differently.
Okay.
And then if you're receiving an email, that would be really, and then if you do test it, tell me about it because I want to know if it, you know, what the reaction was to you changing those settings. That would be interesting.
It would be interesting.
Yeah. So, and again, I haven't tested this in a school setting yet or talked with a teacher that has done it. So I don't have real good feedback for you on that, but we can definitely follow up if you discover anything on your end virtually. That would be really cool. Okay. So the other there's a couple of ways that I've learned that you can provide students with feedback in Google Forms. And I don't know if you know this, but there's respondent settings. So each of the questions that you develop, you have the options in your settings, okay, on your quiz that you can communicate with them immediately as far as missed questions, okay? Correct answer questions, and I've turned all of these on so we can play with them a little bit, as well as a point value system. So I can apply points to that question, and they can immediately see the point system, you know, the points that they're gathering along the way. Okay. Now. Okay, so default, I'm going to do, and I can also set my default point setting, and I'm going to do 10 per question. And have you used this, Gloria, quizzes for Google Forms yet?
I have not, but I do have people that I work with that do.
Okay. Have they brought anything up that you can think of while we're in here that we may need to address? No?
They haven't brought anything up other than it does provide good feedback for their students. And then they did talk about how they use that feedback in class. And so they end up doing some reflection and those types of things.
And kind of carry it on.
Exactly.
Okay, that's awesome. Such good teaching going on. All right, I'm gonna jump back to questions. And again, we're back in our active form. And so if I click on a certain question, since I activated the quiz mode and turned it into a quiz, I'm gonna see a couple of different options than I would normally see if it was just a straight survey form, for example. And one of them is really the activation key for your quizzes is this answer key. Okay. So if I, oops. Thank you. Okay. So in this answer key, a couple of options that I noticed, excuse me, is that I turned on the point system, right? So at this point, I can change the point system to whatever I need here for the overall question. Now, when I start to click on these each individual fields, if you notice, there's a check mark. So and this is not the appropriate question, but no, actually, let's make tacos the right answer here.
That was my answer, so I will
For
agree.
New Mexico, tacos. So you want to select your correct answer because we, again, on the back end in the settings, we activated incorrect answers and correct answers, right? So you want to make sure that you're identifying in your answer key the correct answer. And in this case, we're answering tacos. And the incorrect answers will be a hamburger in Italian. And then I want to click done. And then I'm back to my kind of more generalized tools that I can utilize in each of the questions. So as we're going through, we just want to make sure that we have all of those questions kind of identified and what is the correct answer on each of your questions in your quiz. Now, if you want, and Gloria, I don't know if you can see the quiz and maybe go to the preview mode and actually fill out the questions for me. And let's take a look at how that would come back to us in our response.
Okay, I submitted it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for doing that. All right, so let me go ahead and refresh. I don't see any responses. I'm still waiting for responses. And you didn't have to make a new form, or you did?
I didn't. I just
Okay.
clicked on the link and then answered your question. You want me to try again?
I don't know. Or there's a way. But, oh, you know what? Maybe I need to.
It says I need permission. It says this form can only be viewed by users in the owner's organization. But that would be you, wouldn't it?
That would be me. And I thought I turned all of that off. So maybe let's go back to settings. I have that turned off. That's just responses. What am I missing? Unless it's different, that you have to be a part of the domain. I wonder if that's it. With quizzes. I'm not really seeing a space for that. Let's just do it this way. Let me see if I can do it this way. Okay. What is your email address?
GL kid, here I am.
Okay, perfect. Okay, share anyways. Okay. You should have access now. And let the father tell us specifically what your elements are, and they'll set up your points for you. So when you do get in and we do get some responses, and maybe I can try to do a response. Let's try to do that. That's what I get for making all of this required. So it goes, I'm going to do wrong answer on that. And just okay. So if you're, are you typing in a second response or form?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to let you finish up and just let me know. So kind of I filled it out as from a student's perspective. And what's nice is when you're in quiz mode and you finish your quiz, you can view, since we opened up that tab that said, or that an activated view score immediately, I can go ahead and view the score.
You know what happened is life is so complicated. So when I went in, put in my answers, I typed over
Sorry about that.
your test question, because it won't let me type into the answer. So now I really can't even submit it because it's just looking at it as my, well, let's see. It's just looking at it as my new test.
So the workaround to that would be, so you're kind of in an edit mode for the forms, okay? So in order to fill out the form, and this is really, really easy. Oops, I need to go back to my edit mode. So you should be looking at something like this. Now, what you want to click on is the icon, the eye icon for preview. And that should just open up, it's going to look like the same, but without all of the tools that you would use to edit. And then you should be able to complete your form. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm just looking for the icon now.
Oh, okay. It is right at the top right, and it's the third icon over, or the third or the middle from send, the send button.
Okay, so is it the preview?
Yes, preview, perfect.
Okay, but it's
What is it doing now?
it's showing my altered
Form.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, so you started, okay, all your revisions, well, at least we know that they happened.
Yes, we do.
Okay. Well, we'll just keep moving. So so what was nice about, like, if I finished the form and I was the student, this is what they would be looking at when they completed their test or quiz. And then I could go to view score. It opens up a new window. And I can then look at my correct and incorrect answers. Okay.
Okay.
Of the submission. Now going back to my practice and play questionnaire, I want to just go to responses. And in the response view, I have 3 different areas that I can kind of go. I'm going to go to individual. April, Gloria, what is your favorite? Let's see. I want to go to April Frost. So I'm in April's. Oh, I see what you did, Gloria.
Mm-hmm.
I see what you did. I was like, why am I seeing Gloria's name on there? I gotcha. Okay, but on this one, so I'm the instructor, right? Because I have all the editing tools. On this one, I can add individual feedback. And what's nice about entering individual feedback, I can say, nice, good job, right? To my student. Oops. Okay. And the other thing that's really cool is these two icons, I can either give them a link. So say if this was a correct answer, or I can do like a little Bitmoji for them that says, woo, I can add all sorts of fun stuff for my students at that point. But say that we're working on what's your favorite dessert? I purposefully answered this one incorrectly, and I want to provide individual feedback. What? Cookies. Okay. And then I can either upload videos that I've made. Okay. So if I'm an instructor that works on Loom or Screencastify, and I video and audioly record my responses, I can do it that way. I can just type it in, my feedback. And again, depending on if a student, how they receive information, they may have a disability of some sort. So I may need those different alternatives. So this is nice to know. Or I can search YouTube. Okay. So why is cake better than cookies? And this is just for fun. Anyways, it's going to pull up whatever, and I can select that video and have it ready to go for my students to watch. Okay. So this would be if I had a math problem or, and they missed that, I could actually run through and create a video for them on how to do it correctly.
I actually
go ahead.
This particular feedback a lot with my students. For instance, recently they were having to respond to things about postpartum depression. When I taught face-to-face, I always used a video about, I don't know if you remember her, Andrea Yates. She was a woman in Houston probably 20 years ago that killed 5 of her children, or all of her 5.
Oh, yes.
And she was diagnosed with like the most severe case of postpartum depression. And I would put in the link to that. So if they didn't get it, if they just didn't understand, then they could watch this little video about that. So there's always things, definitely the video links that I would use.
Oh, good. So to just really seal the deal and make that connection of what the message that, the answer to the question. And so that's what I really liked about this. It was just a quick and easy way. Or if I worked with a certain software, a lot of programs that have curriculum nowadays, they have these videos housed and ready to go, and you would just have to pull it in and put it in there for the student. Okay. So those are the few things that I wanted to kind of just go through for today's lesson on the Mini Tech Bets series. Gloria, as ever, thank you for being loyal and faithful and coming. I appreciate you.
Supporting.
Yes, you're supporting me. And hopefully you were able to pick up some little tools and tricks, some new tricks.
Definitely.
Okay. Well, those are all that I had today. And just let me know if you have any other questions.
Okay, I will.
Okay, you have a great day. I'm going to go ahead and stop share. Stop recording.